Hello, this is Module 2. Let me start on the concept of A-frame with it. So this is just a really basic framework that we're going to be working with right now with it. To save time, what I'm going to have you go to CodePen and basically click on Start Coding, and this is where you're at right now if you follow my tutorial with it. And what I'd like for you to do is collapse. If you place your cursor between the two panels, there's three panels here: HTML, CSS, and JS with it, the JavaScript. So place your cursor on between the CSS and your JS, and you see the cursor change into your a parallel line, and there's left and right, and just collapse like that. It's still here. You can always click it and reopen it if you want to. So you click on it, you drag it, and it's back open with it. But for the purpose of this exercise, I just want you to collapse all of it over here, so it gives you a little bit more room. So this is the coding part of it, and the bottom is the output. So you're welcome to use this the way how we're going to just, I call this kind of like a little sandbox with it. So just be in mind, and you know, you can throw code, test code. That's what the sandbox is, a little play area that you can actually go into with it as well. I'd like for you to start in this just to save time. Give me a second. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to actually walk you through. Let me get the code in, and we're going to talk about the code, and we're going to learn how to code this properly with it. So it's a small exercise to get you started, and as you build more concepts with this thing, more skills and coding, but you have to understand how the code works before we can actually move to a room. All right, so I'm going to pause the video for a moment. I'm going to type the code on here as well, okay? Okay, so if you can take a second, and I zoom in on this right here with it, take a second to pause on this screen right here. And I would like for you to properly indent in and put the same thing exactly what I have on here with as well. So the output, we're just going to mess with a little platform layer with this thing, and the three objects on here as well. So and then we're going to talk. So just pause the video and get this code into the HTML panel for me, and we'll talk more. So I'm going to stop right now, pause the video on your side too as well, and copy this code and make sure it's a replica of this exact code, okay? So I hope you have a chance to go in and understand the coding with this. Again, you should have some HTML from your Responsive Design 1 or some sort of Web 1 class to understand a little about attributes and tags and IDs and all this stuff with it as well. So these are the jargon that I'm going to talk to you about with it. HTML, you know, the document object model with it as well with it. So let's focus on what I'm talking about right here with it. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we're going to talk about with it. And as I do this, feel free to document with using the explanation dash and dash closing off your explanation with it. So anything between this documentation, between the left angle bracket, the explanation dash, and wherever you type in between it, dash, right angle bracket, that's going to be mask, meaning it's going to be documented in between. So I like for you to document as long as we go through this thing. So this follows, I'm going to, if you recall from your Web 1 or your Responsive Design 1, follows the document object model, okay, with it. So the document object model prepares you is what? It tells you here's this head section, which is going to be loaded first before you load the body of the entire page with it. So just keep that in mind with it. Things that contain in the head section belong, meaning the attributes or a tag, such as script that you see here, or things such as title, things like that. Only, it's like your eyes is in the head section. You can't put your eyes into the body, right? Or you can't take the heart and put it into the head. It doesn't belong there with it. So there are certain tags and attributes that when we talk about encoding, it has to belong into the right proper area. The second thing I want to talk about the DOM object model is make sure you indent in right. You see how head and body is properly indented in with it. All of this is part of readability. So you got to be able to read where it begins and where it ends with it. Make sure they pair up with it as well. So you have good practice when you start to code with it. For example, you notice the HTML pairs up the closing, which is the / of HTML, how they pair up with it, they align, and if you indent in head to head, body to body with it, you see that? So if you look at it, don't, like I said, don't mess with anything that changes out here with it. Sorry, my alarm goes off. Inside of your head section, this part right here, we call it the CDN, which is the content display network with it. It's a linking file that you need to be able to do with it. So I'm going to document this. Feel free to document as we talk about this as well with it. This is your CDN, all right, which is what's called the links to an external file with it. All right, a lot of this is JavaScript in this case with it, so it's actually linked to an external Java, I want to say JS file, just for the purpose of, for this discussion with it as well. So you have to get this properly done. Again, beginning your script, closing your script with it. All right, so you have to get this exact version of this as well with it as well. So make sure you got this link properly. If you don't have this link line number 5, here's the line number 5. If you don't have this properly done, it's not going to work. So that closes off your head section. The body section in this case, we're going to put in some scene, the A scene, which is the A for A-frame, and the scene that we're going to actually deal with right now with it. There are actually, believe it or not, this is the environment. This is what it calls a skybox. This is color is gray with it here with it. All right, and when we come in, we're going to actually, I want you to, your output should look something like this right now. I gave you a very static page with it. You can move around, of course. Your camera is actually fixed right now. You're not able to move your camera with it. So get your scene to look like this right now for me, okay? Make sure you are properly aligned with it, because after we talk about this, these what we call our tags we're talking about right here with it, or inside each one of these things, such let me grab the first one. This part is called an attribute. All right, so position, rotation, color, all these are attributes. So they're like eyes. The property is the value. So I have black eyes, so black would be here. Everybody has eyes, okay? Rotation is an attribute, such as hair, and the color is black. This can be age, and I won't tell you how old I am, but this is your number of years, okay? Again, the closing of this box or this asset files are what we call as component in this case right now with it, right? So feel free to understand how this works with it as well. You will need to able to understand these property in these boxes, the property of these attributes with each one of these entity. I'm going to call this whole thing as an entity with it as well. So we actually have an environment. We actually have a plane that these three entities, all these are entities, by the way. So I'm calling these three objects that you put on here is the sphere, the cylinder, and the plane, right? So these are special shapes that in the A-frame is brought into from your JavaScript file up here. So everything that you write here refers to this linking of this file here. That's how important line number 5 is on this right now with it. Now, let's talk about the positions on this thing right now with it. The properties that you're looking at right here is X, Y, Z. The X follows the Cartesian coordinates. If you put your hand up like this, your right hand, all right, and if you position it like this, this is your Y, this is your X, and this is the Z, okay, because we're dealing with a 3D environment with it. Anything that's pointing towards this direction right now with it is positive, positive, positive. So if you held your finger up and something's pointing at you, that's a positive direction. If things are going to the right, it's a positive direction. If things are going up, it's a positive direction, okay? So put yourself in some sort of orientation that you would know this. So for example, this box right here, it's sitting at a -1, meaning negative on the X coordinate. 0.5, 0.5, always put a 0 in front of it, right? The 0.5, basically it's above the plane, right? Because it's a positive number. -3 is the z, meaning it's pushed back behind the 0 coordinate. So if you imagine this plane right here, right, the center of this plane is 0, 0, 0, right? So that's how I want you to see this, as this coordinates with it as well. Of course, this is a ball. This is a box with it, right? So this particular box is rotated 45 degrees. This is the y rotation right here, okay, x, y, z. The 0, 0 is the x and z. Its position is 0. There's no rotation. Of course, this is the color, hexadecimal color we're looking at. And the same goes for the other parts into as well. So you have the box, sphere, cylinder, plane. Again, everything, all the properties follows with it. The only difference, if you look at the plane, which is this gray box of this plane right here that 3 entities are sitting on, it has a position, 0, 0, -4, kind of pushed to the back with it, a little further back than the box, as you can see with it, so it allows you the box to move forward a little bit as well. So the rotation in this case is -90 with it, and is in the x coordinate, right? The width is 4 by 4 with it. So and the color is this color with it, and it's the plane. Now the sky, what we call is the sky box with it, the whole white background of this gray color that you're looking at, is this value right here. Okay, so that's what I like for you to understand, is that particular value with it as well. So take a moment. I'm going to close the video right now because we are approaching almost 12 minutes with this, and we're going to continue to the next part with it as well for your task.